We are back taking up general services. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sean Donahue, General Services Director. In this budget, we are proposing a slight cost of doing business increase to maintain our current levels of service by providing operational or building operations and maintenance services for all the county departments and constitutional offices. Every dollar that we're proposing in this budget supports the services provided to the taxpayers by Martin County departments. Our divisions in the General Services Department include HVAC technicians, the trades, the plumbers, the electricians, the low voltage techs, the carpenters, the painters, the mechanics, and the accounting technicians who work hard to maintain the county assets effectively, efficiently, and strategically. The department goals include investigating all energy and operational savings. We're constantly doing that. Performing proactive building components and systems inspections to reduce failures. Reduce reactive maintenance and requests by completing more preventive maintenance requests and standardizing all building-related components and equipment. The General Services Department maintains well over $230 million in county building assets. That's probably a higher number by now. These valuations were done about 2 or 3 years ago. These assets include critical facilities like the Sheriff's Office facilities, including the jail, all fire departments, the Cheney Courthouse, the Courthouse Office Complex, or building, the Supervisor of Elections Office, the Property Appraiser's Office, the Tax Collector's Office, the Health Department buildings, historic buildings, and other buildings like the Administration Building and all the libraries. We maintain over 800 county vehicles, including the Enterprise Lease Fleet Program for light vehicles. This program is replacing older county vehicles with light fleet vehicles with more efficiencies and cost-effective and fiscally stable lease program. Within the first year of this program alone, this year, we've already seen a cost avoidance of over $50,000 by not having to replace older, damaged, inoperable vehicles. And we can go ahead and start the leasing program with those vehicles. So there's already a savings there. We also manage the County Energy and Operational Savings Program, which I'll discuss in the next couple slides. Some of the GSD stats, things that we do. We manage over 1,100 air conditioning systems across the county. We manage almost 600,000 gallons of fuel at 15 locations. We process almost 12,000 work orders a year. We process about 9,000 service invoices and 2,500 requests for maintenance. We provide work order. We do preventive work orders, for about 6,400 work orders a year. And we do reactive work orders, about 2,900 work orders a year. We maintain over 1,700 security cameras. We store over 3,000 terabytes of security data. We print over 4,000 badges, access management badges for all the different departments, staff, and vendors. We maintain over 8,000 life safety devices. We've completed about 16 major projects this year, including the House of Refuge, library pavilions, and the like. We're working on about 17 projects currently, and we are working on the Energy Savings Program for 2025, and that program is currently produced about $67,000 worth of savings. The cost of doing business increases over time have hit our department since the pandemic, and they're not coming down. As Stephanie mentioned earlier, the paper products increases alone for the last 5 years have been about 45%. In this current budget, we're looking at about a 19% increase in just paper alone. So that we're seeing these increases all over time, and we can't do anything about them. They just hit us, and we have to absorb them as best as we can. We did try to taper our increases with some reductions across the budget where we can. We also monitor the producer price index. That's similar to the consumer pricing index. This is specifically for products, and the fuel costs alone have increased about 45% over the last 5 years, as well as all the service and maintenance costs. So it's constantly going up on us. We operate proactively when maintaining our valuable county assets. We try to avoid the fix-on-fail methodology, so the essential services provided by the departments we do serve do not impact the taxpayers who rely on these services. Our proactive approach to the buildings and vehicle assessments and maintenance services reduce or eliminate deferred maintenance, which according to the APPA can quadruple these costs if you don't do them now. So the General Services Department has maintained several energy and operational savings programs that have provided savings in excess of $30 million to date. The current project is looking at a total savings of about $10 million. And then the overall total savings for all their energy maintenance projects is over $60 million. Behind every county building is a team of dedicated folks in the General Services Department working to save taxpayer dollars. You don't know if we're there if we're doing our job right. All the lights will be on, the temperature will be good in the buildings, but if we're not doing our job right, you'll know we weren't. You'll be uncomfortable. So we try to avoid the fix-on-fail approach. We try to be proactive in our maintenance and provide the essential services that our community depends on. So, any questions?
Questions for Mr. Donahue? Mr. Donahue, are you proceeding with the improvements to supervisor of elections, or are you going to wait until after the general election is over?
The supervisor has asked us to pause a little bit. We're
I
still
think-
designing, and we can get our costs and we
Yeah.
can get lined up, but she doesn't want to do construction.
Makes perfect sense. It would be very disruptive at this point, wouldn't it?
It would. We'll work around that.
Any further questions? Is there a tentative motion to approve?
I'll move tentative approval for the general services budget.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Growth management is up next. Mr. Schilling.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you, Madam Chair. Paul Schilling, Growth Management Director. For the record, I'm pleased to be here this morning presenting the proposed 2027 tentative budget. I do have a couple slides prepared, but I would start out by just explaining some of the generalities of the department and what we do on a day-to-day basis. I have some numbers for you on the next few slides, but the department is comprised of 4 divisions. Growth management is responsible for planning and development services to the public through effective customer service, education, and community awareness. And our mission is to ensure regulatory compliance so that our residents can continue enjoying the Martin County difference. The growth management department and those laws and ordinances are mandated by state statute. They're also mandated by the Comprehensive Growth Management Plan, the land development regulations, and other ordinances. So this 2027 tentative budget allows us to maintain our current level of exceptional service while addressing increases in operating costs and continuing to operate efficiently. Some considerations and divisions. I'd point out the state mandates. That's a subject that's not only currently a current topic, but also on the horizon. Increased public records requests. Archives management, we do have a digital department-wide project that is taking old paper files and digitizing them. That provides for more transparency, easier retrieval, and also the easier disposition of those eventually. Our code enforcement activities, our goals are to maintain compliance with state statutes and adapt to the current changes in statutes, so kind of twofold there. And update the comprehensive plan and the growth land development regulations, should those be necessary, which they will be. Improve customer service measures and increase review efficiency. So next slide. So I touched on a few of these, just generally and holistically. The planning and development services for unincorporated Martin County, our customer service component, updating these documents and so forth. Protecting and preserving the natural resources and code enforcement to regulate that. And our services these are a little bit bifurcated, but we coordinate and lead the development review process. As you know, we have 3 project coordinators that shepherd those applications, whether they be a pre-application all the way up to a planned unit development through the development review process. There's 12 to 15 people involved in that process. Building permit reviews, and I'll get to some numbers in a moment. The archive management. We have had an increase of public records. We had approximately 178 public records requests last year, and I have some numbers on that. Preserve area management processing, PAMP compliance, and then the environmental permit processing. So I have it. Next slide. So these are these are October 1 to June 30 customer service inquiries. As you know, right across the hall here, we have an exceptional environment for customer service. We take walk-in traffic from 9 to 4 every day except Thursday throughout the year, with a couple exceptions. So we have, up until this point, approximately 3,300. We're on schedule to meet. We probably have 5,000 to 6,000 of those a year. We review thousands of permits a year, 90 different zoning districts, 6 community redevelopment areas, a mixed-use village, a variety of zoning and circumstances with those. And we're on target to hit probably 10 to 12,000 of those. Those can be re-reviews. They can also be one-offs. Environmental inspections, 818. Those may involve a complaint as well, but generally we have a couple inspectors that are doing those inspections throughout the day. Development review projects are a whole different matter. They are average between 60 and 90 at any given time. This just happens to be the number throughout that time. We average about 60 to 90, and those can be anything from a small service station to a planned unit development with several hundred units across the spectrum, industrial, hundreds of thousands of square feet, so forth. Public records request, I mentioned that 328 hours is reflective of 178, I believe. And then the code enforcement cases, Mr. Doherty was here earlier talking about some of those code enforcement cases. These are more, for lack of a better term, high-level cases. These involve potentially monitoring, replanting, recreating wetlands, recreating upland habitat, bonding of the proposed plantings, and then a successful inspection within the 2-year window. So these are complex cases. Sometimes they do require magistrate approval, so we have those as well. And then we have the next slide, please. So we have a group, this is kind of near and dear to my heart, is the customer service component. I started in this capacity as a zoning compliance reviewer almost 20 years ago. So I dealt with customers day in and day out for several years with all kinds of scenarios under the sun. And it was a very helpful environment. It was challenging most days, but we pride ourselves on giving the residents the factual information in a timely manner and the best way forward as far as applications. 459 some odd business tax receipts. Those are when you're opening in a business in the county. We have a zoning reviewer that's looking at that property to make sure that it's a permitted use, has the appropriate parking, the appropriate site plan, and so forth. And then environmental permits, those can be shoreline hardening, those can be a dock with the access through the shoreline protection zone, preserve area management plans, and several waivers at times. Reasonable accommodations, this is the process of coming to a magistrate when you're requesting, whether it be, I'll just use a couple examples that come to mind. Maybe there is over 5 residents unrelated living in a house and with a component of substance abuse counseling or housing. We have some of those. We had, I believe, 7 or 8 of these requests. There could also be someone that wants emotional support chickens or some emotional support pigs or whatever, some type of other animals. I'm not making light of it, but those are the things that can take quite a bit of time. We have 244 hours here, but that's probably not even close. Next slide, please. I think that might be.
That's it.
That's it, okay. Commissioners, I appreciate your attention and I appreciate your support. You know what my team and I do day in and day out. I couldn't do it without them. So our department remains committed to providing high-quality service, operating efficiently, and being responsible stewards of the taxpayers' resources while maintaining the level of service our community expects. I would like to also acknowledge GMD staff, of course, our whole team, Rebecca Dima for preparing a lot of these documents, and OMB with Stephanie, Nisha, and Shelby at times. Concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Schilling? Commissioner Campy?
I think the Growth Management Department, especially in Martin County, is one of our most important departments. I think all of the commissioners would agree a majority of the questions and concerns and comments we get from constituents, a lot of it has to do with development or lack thereof, or too much, too little. Questions, they're complicated, they're not easy, and every time I've ever needed to work with not just Mr. Schilling, but anybody in his department, they've really been, they operate at a very high level of customer service, constituent services, but have all the information. They're a wealth of knowledge, and I happily make a motion to accept tentatively his budget. Oh, shut that off.
Commissioner Capps?
Yes. Have there been any recent statutes or recent legislation that is changing the way you do things?
That's a complicated question. There's a couple. One answer would be yes, there are some legislative changes. We're going to bring a board item in the near future that will discuss those in detail. We have that prepared and are working on some fine tuning of it. There are, as you can imagine, the state is from a holistic approach saying you need to do everything faster, you need to do things more administrative, you need to have approvals done quickly or they will be approved. So we have some changes potentially that are going to come along with the agricultural enclave legislation. We have changes with the fact of the matter that now the state has preempted local zoning laws with respect to mobile homes. You can now place a mobile home in any zoning district, for generally speaking. So some LDRs and code changes will need to happen with that from a perspective of standards for specific uses and those development standards. There is legislation now with a pre-application process with qualified contractors that will provide a process in which someone pays to have a plan conceptually approved, for lack of a better term, but then that's submitted, and then there's a 60-day or a 90-day review of that, with the understanding that that should be the approved plan based on the qualified contractor or applicant, and those are just a couple of them. Mm-hmm. Everything is done quicker, and so that's the state's, I think.
Can you elaborate on Coulter Ag Enclave? Has an application come in? How many homes? How long do you have to review it? How much is administrative? How much is our decision-making?
Yes, I can. I'll touch on a little bit of that. So we have in fact received a request from the Coulter requesting agricultural enclave. We are currently analyzing that. We have, I believe, 60 days to analyze that application. And then ultimately, I believe, and the attorney, Ms. Elder, will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think something would need to be done within 90 days or it would just be adopted or approved. I can tell you that the legislation is very vague. It does not appear to be kind of fitting into the holes that are set up for it as far as the local criteria and what's on the ground out there, but we're currently analyzing it. We've only had it a few days.
How many homes?
I'm not sure if it was 1,000 or a little over.
I think it's about 1,200.
Yes. But I think the maximum could be much more.
Commissioner Heatherington?
Yeah, Commissioner Capps, I think asked and you answered. Mine was more in reference to the third-party review.
Yes.
And it sounds like you're going to have some adaptive measures and bring those back?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, the issue is we have to allow third-party review, so we'll have to, as I recall, we have the opportunity to select who we believe would be qualified as a third-party review, and if we don't select them, then the state will basically, they can use who they want.
Correct. But that doesn't come into play till January. We have some time.
January of 2027?
Well, they'll probably glitch bill that out, right?
Yes, uh-huh. That's right.
Any further?
Did you make a motion?
That's it.
I'll
You did?
second it.
I gave a beautiful, soliloquy
Thank you.
about how much I love Paul.
Is that a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
SE team.
Wow.
Now, Information Technology Services. Good afternoon.
You didn't want to enter the room until it was your turn, I guess. You're allowed to come in. We see you.
You don't see them.
Those windows are glass, we can see through. We can see you.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. For the record, my name is Erica Sinclair, and I'm the Chief Information Officer. Before we go into the numbers, I want to give you a sense of what Information Technology Services delivers across Martin County. Technology is no longer just computers and software. It is the foundation that enables county government to operate every day. We support more than 2,200 employees and public safety personnel across county departments, constitutional offices, state entities, and municipal partners by providing the technology, cybersecurity, communications, and infrastructure that power nearly every county service. Today's request includes two investments that work together. It is from the ITS operating budget, which funds the people and who support county technology, and then the technology investment plan, which funds the technology itself. I will be walking through who we serve, the services we provide, how those services are delivered, and why these investments are important to maintaining the level of service our residents expect. To begin with, who do we serve? Many people think ITS is simply the county's IT department, but we are really the shared technology provider for Martin County. You will notice at the center of this diagram is the Information Technology Services and the Technology Investment Plan. From there, you can see the organizations we support every day. We provide the technology, cybersecurity, communications, and infrastructure for 13 county departments, 5 constitutional offices, and 8 municipal and regional partners. In total, that's 26 organizations supported through a shared services model. Although much of our work happens behind the scenes, the impact is seen every day. From emergency communications to online services residents use every day. For example, when you make a call to 911, technology connects that call and keeps fire rescue, law enforcement, and dispatch, our heroes, communicating when every second matters. During hurricanes and other emergencies, our public safety radio system keeps first responders connected even if traditional communications are disrupted. This helps ensure the continuity of operations and the safety of our residents. Whether it is county staff serving residents, the sheriff's office, fire rescue, the clerk, municipalities, or our regional partners, they all rely on the same technology foundation. Now that you've seen who we serve, let's look at the scope of services we provide. Those services extend well beyond public safety. Every day, technology allows residents to apply for permits, pay for their utility bills online, reserve park facilities, purchase a water park pass for the visiting grandchildren, check out a library book, or access many services county departments provide. Technology is the foundation that keeps government operating. This approach allows us to leverage technology investments across multiple agencies instead of each organization building and maintaining its own technology environment. That reduces costs, improves consistency, strengthens cybersecurity, and enhances regional collaboration, particularly for public safety and emergency communications. These numbers illustrate the scale of technology and in the environment we manage every day. We support more than 1,400 computers, over 4,300 phones, and hundreds of servers, network switches, and wireless access points across the county. Cybersecurity is also a critical part of what we do. During the past year, We've blocked more than 2.5 million malicious emails, remediated over 1,500 vulnerabilities, monitored more than 2,700 security events, and protected over 5,400 endpoints to help keep county systems and data secure. Beyond the day-to-day support, we also manage the county's enterprise technology environment, supporting nearly 600 business applications, 150 active technology projects, and more than 330 technology contracts and vendor relationships. Behind each of these numbers are the people, systems, and technology that keep government operating and protecting the taxpayers' investment. Up to this point, I've shown you who we serve and the scope of services we provide. This slide explains how we deliver those services. Our mission is to be a trusted business partner by delivering secure, reliable, and cost-effective technology services while being responsible stewards of taxpayer dollars. We accomplish this through two complementary investments that work together. On the left of this slide is the ITS operating budget. It funds the people who keep county technology running every day, supporting public safety communications, cybersecurity, customer support, business applications, network operations, and the technology our employees rely on to serve our residents. On the right is the technology investment plan. This funds the technology itself, our infrastructure, networks, cybersecurity, communications, business applications, cloud services, and the life cycle replacement of aging equipment. One doesn't work without the other. As we close, I'd like to bring it back to our taxpayers' value. Throughout today's presentation, you've seen that technology is the foundation that enables virtually every county service to operate securely, reliably, and efficiently. The return on that investment is reliable county operations, protected data, modern services for residents, and replacing critical technology before it fails, not after. Simply put, the ITS operating budget provides the people, and the technology investment plan provides the tools that power county government. The two requests before you today are targeted investments that sustain, not expand our services. The technology investment plan continues investing in the systems that support public safety, protect county data, and enable every department to serve our residents. The additional network administrator strengthens the backbone of the county's technology infrastructure, providing the expertise needed to implement, maintain, monitor, and secure the network that connects nearly every county service. Together, these requests help us maintain service levels, reduce operational risk, and protect the taxpayers' investment in county technology. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Ms. Sinclair?
Is that actually her or is that AI?
No,
That's really me.
she did great.
Well done.
Commissioner Capps? Sorry.
That's fine.
So what you're presenting now is the operating side of things. And then later we'll have I think it's P on the agenda is technology investment plan, which
Is it
is like the equipment itself.
We have combined these because
Oh,
it is
you're
kind of
doing
a
it.
two-prong budget for Erica's department. So she says the people are the operating, and they carry out the technology improvement plan on here.
Okay, so
If you
so
look
this
at-
motion will be about
The-
K and P
Correct.
in the
And
book.
what
Okay.
the slide we have up now shows that exact budget request.
Or both.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add about the tip?
She did both.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Commissioner Campy?
No Heather in it.
Wasn't it much of the tip that was an unfunded mandate by the state a couple years ago?
Yes.
Can you just briefly
Yeah, the
overview?
cybersecurity, so a few years ago, I did come to you for a cybersecurity manager position, but prior to that, we haven't had an increase in 20 years, I think it's been. And that was to support our cybersecurity structure, strengthen our firewalls, which is what secures our data behind everything that you use every day as you work as a county, across the county.
But that was mandated by the
Yes,
state.
yes, yes, it was a bill.
2024.
And since that, we've also, as you saw on one of the services pages, we're doing a lot more monitoring, protecting, and education, because that is part of that mandate. So our cyber team does do that with staff as needed.
Commissioner Campy.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. How many people in your department?
With this new position, it will be a total of 41.
Okay, and then how many, I saw it on your slide there, but I don't remember if you said it, how many calls for service?
Well, we have 10,000 for help desk, or over 10,000 help desk calls.
The technology is changing, obviously, very rapidly, and the level of knowledge and expertise that your employees in your department need to have. Are you also suffering headhunting where people are trying to pilfer your people?
Always.
Yeah, and is
I mean,
it
that's-
similar to fire rescue and sheriff where they're heading south?
Absolutely, but in our area, they don't have to travel anywhere.
Which
In
is
in the
good.
world of technology, our people, we have an amazing staff, some that have been with us a very long time, and that's a benefit to the county because they know where everything is, how everything works. They know the history to support any issues. We're very fortunate.
Emergency radios, that falls into your world as well?
Yes, correct.
Can you give us a little update? I was at an event recently and somebody was questioning the value of emergency radios, the value in terms of how much they cost to have and not just the value of what they do, but
Right.
it was questioned on the expense of them. Can you share that, or do you have an expert that would like to share that?
I do have an expert.
Yes,
you
he's
like
trying
to-
to hide.
They require, you know.
His name's Russell.
I would be, yeah.
Like to
It
phone
would,
a
it would
friend?
be in the benefit.
No, Russell has been out, you know, I don't know
Out in the
how many
field this
times that
morning.
he's been out at 3 a.m. fixing broken lines and making things happen. So be nice to Russell.
Yeah, it'd be very
We
nice.
need to-
Today, he woke up to actually, you'll see on there, 306 after hours calls and change management. So when our county facilities and we all go home in the office, his team is still working. And he is over radios, he's over the fiber, he is over network connectivity, Wi-Fi, all the phones, if you saw 4,300 phones. So he has a humongous job and is worth the same staff he's had for a long time, network team-wise. So radios, you go, the cost.
So,
Stole your whole speech.
yeah, she did. I don't know what to say now.
You have way more.
So radio specifically, what is it that you're,
How many do we have? Who has them? And,
Why
how
are they
often?
so expensive for public safety, I think is really the
okay.
main
So
question.
we have about 2,500 radios across the fleet. That includes fire rescue, Martin County Sheriffs. We also support Stuart PD, Town of Jupiter Island, Sewell's Point as well, plus all the departmental county departments like Public Works, Parks Department has some, General Services. The reason why this equipment is so expensive is it's specialized, right? It's very niche. There's not a lot of vendors, that throughout the country or in the world that, provide radio equipment for first responders. So, we're looking at technology that has to be reliable and dependable of every second that an officer or a deputy or a firefighter is using that technology. It cannot fail, right? And that's what you're paying for. Is that when they go to hit that button to make a call back to dispatch, that it gets through every single time. That when somebody calls them on the radio, that it's legible, that they're able to hear it, and that they're able to receive it every time.
I appreciate that. All humor aside, one of the biggest challenges of September 11th in New York City was the complete failure of their communication system because it was not designed to work at that level. And I think that obviously to a much smaller scale, what you were saying about being able to hear a call coming through could be giving a deputy or someone in law enforcement or a firefighter really important information like, be careful, there was 3 of them, not 1. And So I think it sounds like a small category, and it falls into a laundry list of the things that you're responsible for. But it does indeed show how each of the categories are so important. The other thing that I always think about when we think of IT services is people take it for granted, and when you're doing your job correctly and it's working, no one thinks about it. They only think about it when it doesn't work. And, all of us have other opportunities where we're involved in technology and things like that, and it shuts companies down. It shuts departments down. So you say, well, you're spending a lot of money to make these things preventative, but what's the cost if it fails? Beyond the actual cost. And then my final point would be that we're not even experts, you are. The technology is changing so rapidly. You could be investing on the TIP side on something that is state-of-the-art, and then less than 12 months later, it's not state-of-the-art anymore. So do we stick in a fiscally responsible way, just keep what we have, or are we constantly trying to be, towards the leading edge of it? So I think what, you made the presentation, it's another one of our departments where people are like, you're not really thinking much about it until you really need to think much about it, so I appreciate it. Cybersecurity could cost us so much money. I remember even locally, several years ago, the city of Stuart was, whatever the word is, hijacked or hacked Riviera Beach. So then we'd all be looking at each other like, well, why did that happen? So I think this is one of those areas, it's just as much the day-to-day necessity of the products and the services and the people as it is almost like an insurance policy. You have to invest in that, hoping not to have to use it. But if you don't have it, then, most of us hear the word firewall and we're like, oh, I sort of understand what that is, but you don't. And what do they say? You have a bad person, a bad actor has to be right once. You have to be right every single time. So I appreciate what you're doing. I would make a motion to tentatively approve both. You want separate motions?
You can make them together, right? You okay
This
with that?
particular case, we would bundle
Yeah,
them
should be
together?
Yeah.
Both sides of this, the information technology services and the technical investment plan tentative budget, correct?
Technology investment, yep.
Technology.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Get some rest, Roger. Is that electrical store? And library. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jen Salas, Library Director. I have with me Richard Riley, Deputy Library Director.
Hinder.
Across Florida, public libraries are heavily used investments. In our library system, the demand is clear. High visits, strong program attendance, and extensive digital lending show that residents rely on our library every day. Our libraries are visited more frequently per capita than all other libraries in Florida except Broward County. Also, we have more event attendees per capita than St. Lucie, Indian River, and Miami-Dade counties combined.
Wow. Yeah, say that again.
We have more event attendees per capita than St. Lucie, Indian River, and Miami-Dade counties combined. And you could replace Palm Beach County with Miami-Dade and the same statement is true. Libraries are among the most efficient public investments a county can make. They provide free access to information, technology, and learning in spaces residents already heavily use. That means more service per dollar and not more spending for its own sake. That level of demand is why this budget continues to focus on preserving service, reducing waste, and making sure existing dollars produce the greatest possible return for taxpayers. This budget does not add any new initiatives. It maintains existing service levels under tight fiscal control. We reviewed operating costs carefully and limited growth to unavoidable costs. We look for efficiencies wherever possible and have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars for those services that we have implemented. So some examples of this are our volunteers, whose time contributes $607,000 annually in savings. Radio frequency identification automation, which saves $70,000 per branch library over 10 years. An interlibrary loan, which saves more than $26,000 annually in material costs. Together, these efficiencies help us preserve service levels while directing staff time and funding toward patron-facing work. The library remains a low-cost county service with high public usage and broad access. This slide shows the variety of services we provide to the community for all ages, including early literacy, teen and tween services, adult and aging population events, access to emerging technology, and literacy instruction. I'd like to provide a few examples of the faces behind these services. A staff member in Jensen Beach helped a resident completed a step-up scholarship application to help with school funding for their granddaughter and submitted it successfully the same day. In South Stuart, staff restored a patron's Zoom access before an important meeting, solving a problem that could have cost her an opportunity. In Palm City, staff coordinated sewing programs, helped 2 children contribute costumes for professional productions at the Kravis Center. In Indiantown, staff quickly compiled local meal distribution sites after students asked for help, connecting families to needed resources. These are just a few of the stories that our library staff play a part in every day. This next slide gives some statistics of annual usage of our services, such as the number of books checked out, both print and downloadable, our events attendance, internet usage, use of our various spaces, one-on-one appointments, and everyday reference and technology questions. This represents a small portion of what we provide to our residents. Every dollar in our budget supports a real service. Courier delivery for homebound patrons, outreach to children and after-school programs, sensory-friendly spaces, collection development, and responsive public service. These are the functions that turn funding into daily public access. We calculated the value to our residents based on money saved by using library services, and the savings range from over $600 a month for a single retiree and over $700 a month for a family with a preschooler and tween. With a typical household paying less than $3 a month for library services, residents receive substantial value for a very modest local investment. And while we seek as many funds as possible through our friends groups, our library foundation, and other grants, 87% of our services are funded through property taxes. State aid to libraries also increases as local dollars increase, so county support helps leverage additional grant funding for us. Taken together, this budget protects a high public use service, controls costs, and delivers measurable return to taxpayers. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions? I use the library every single day, 365 days of the year.
I use the library, and I don't even have to go to the library. Everything's
Thank
online.
you. Nor do I.
Learning another language.
Libby. Any questions, comments?
Is this a net? I see your revenue, and then I see your expenditures. Am I correct about this?
In which part? In the,
I was looking back here.
Total budget.
Yes.
That is indicative of all revenues and expenditures. That's net. That's not net, it's their total budget with
Yeah.
all revenue sources funding it.
Nice job. I thought the statistics that we have more event attendees of all of those larger counties are very impressive.
thank you.
I'll move tentative approval of the library budget.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you. We're going to do parks first, or non-departmental?
Parks.
Okay.
I'll end with non-departmental.
Don't forget it, because I will.
I won't forget.
Good afternoon. My name's Kevin Abate, Parks and Recreation Director. And behind me is Jessica Ballas, my Deputy Director, in case you have any complicated questions that I can't answer. So this budget that you're being presented to today for the Parks Department, what it does, it maintains our current level of service for all of our programs. As you can see, we have many divisions across our department, from our park operations, which is our most complicated, which includes our mooring field operations, our recreation programs, our grants, our golf course and hitting bays, our water park pool, our campground operations, Indian Riverside Park, and then extension services. Right now, we currently maintain 75 parks and beaches with over 1,700 acres of active parkland. Some of our goals are to improve our special facilities and reduce our subsidies. That's a big focus that we've had. Expand programs that improve quality of life, support free youth sports throughout quality fields and facilities, and then serve 50,000 residents through the free community programs, and provide swim lessons, which have trended over 400 on annual each year. As you can see in the slide here, under our complexes for our facilities, for our parks and maintenance, we have 49 athletic fields, 20 boat ramps, 24 playgrounds, 34 pickleball courts, and restrooms, and at 48 parks and beaches. Recreation and community programs, free after-school, summer camp, senior programs, swim lessons, and education programs are all offered free to the community, some through grants through the Children's Services Councils, and some through our programs through tax-funded services. Our sports and aquatic services, tournaments, senior games, swim meets, lap swim memberships, and youth sports, youth and adult golf instruction, and our public access and community support with special events, affordable rentals, splash pad operations, and emergency response support. Right now, as I said earlier, we have our 75 parks and beaches, beach parks. We have 12 buildings, 170 courts and fields, 160 pavilions, and 20 boat ramps. Each year, online through our request for service program, we get over 3,400 inbound requests for service. And that is anything from, can you please trim the tree that's hanging over in our backyard, to there's graffiti on a playground. We encourage these requests come in, and we have a great response time that we respond within 10 days at a 97% success rate, that within 10 days that those requests are actually resolved. We did, this past year, over 7,200 work orders, 7,300 asset inspections like your playgrounds that we have. We empty daily 526 trash cans. That is now outsourced service that we have. And we also have over 30,000 adult and senior participants. Our mooring field programs had over 900 reservations with 1,700 participants, and our campground reservations over 6,300. Free senior programs, over 4,373 participants. Free after-school summer camp programs, 254 participants. Pavilion reservations, over 979. Community center reservations, over 1,600. Athletic field, court, rink reservations, over 2,800. You can see the participants on the screen. Free special events organized, we did about 13 of them with almost 9,500 participants. And we permitted throughout the county over 99 special event permits through my office. Then I'm wrapping up here with our beach cafe services, over 78,000 meals and 2,300 beach chair rentals. We did permit 12 tournaments this year for over 7,400 participants. One of the things I don't talk about too much is the economic impact of sports as it relates to Martin County and what we do through the whole county for sports tourism. If you recall, many years ago, we held the Florida State Swimming and Diving Finals for swimming. We held that for over 10 years. We were doing, on average, just for that swim meet, over 4,000 room nights. We had some of the biggest swim meets in the state or in the nation, in the county. We also do that through so many other sports throughout my 16 years as a parks director, with the different sports between soccer, baseball, lacrosse, football, and the various tournaments that we support here in the county. We do have over 20,000 youth sports participants. We have 9 golf course instructional programs. We had almost 2,000 participants this year. Beach fire permits is something that we implemented many years ago. We're hovered over 448 permits just last year. It was a super popular program. Swim lessons, this last year was over 257 swim lessons. And then we, of course, have swim meets, dive meets, synchro meets hosted at the water park, 22 of those. Last year we did over 15,500 hitting bay rentals, and then 50,000 at the water park. So a very voluminous Parks Department program. This year with the budget, I did pull some numbers and I thought were interesting to see some of, just to keep up with just level of service over, since the pandemic, the things that we either have absorbed or try to cut. I go through our parks budget. I've been doing this my 16th year. I go through every single line on them to make sure that what we spent last year is what we're going to spend this year, and we make the necessary adjustments for those. It's just that's my nature. But I was surprised in just some of the numbers that we pulled out just recently. For example, the water park, when we provide insurance for the water park on top of the county's TRICO insurance as a layer of protection. So since then, our insurance for the water park has went up 148%. So we absorb that through fees, mostly in most really good years. But the list kind of goes on, and just if you indulge me for just a minute on just some of the areas. Pool chemicals, the national average for pool chemicals is about 41%, but we were 72%. Janitorial supplies, we were up 50%. Landscaping services up 75%. This is from 2020 till now. Equipment, tools, 75%. Capital equipment, 70%. Sports equipment, 123%. Irrigation supplies, 58%. And the list just goes on and on. And it's interesting. So in this year's budget, we are going to absorb, if you look at the first slide, we're going to absorb the communal trail in our budget this year as a part of the CRA's great program that they're building right now, and that will be a part of our operating maintenance plan for next year. Our expenses that are in this program, aside from, the FICA, Medicare, the pensions and the salaries, which is the majority for most departments, including Parks Department, is related to those janitorial contracts, those restroom contracts, all those services, landscape service contracts. They all increase to kind of make up the difference. So, as we try to absorb those and continue our level of service, our budget's flat as it relates to those services to continue to do what we're doing today. Last fact I'll end with you, I thought was interesting. So I ran a little report just for myself, and I talked about with Stephanie last week when we were talking all things budget. So in our current budget year, our park system operates this year on a $19.6 million budget. $10.3 million of that comes from MSTU, property taxes, and general fund. And then when you divide that number across all trim notices, it costs the average taxpaying household $7.99 per household per month to run the Parks Department. And the remaining balance of that is a $9 million funded in user fees, programs, rentals throughout the various facilities. So we have we say almost half of our entire almost $20 million program is covered by user fees to provide all of these services through the county. And our team, it's not a big team. When we benchmark ourselves against like counties across the state of Florida, on the maintenance side, we're really, really low, which means we're really underfunded, we're really efficient. But on the revenue generating side, we're at the top of our game throughout the state, actually throughout the country. So I just want to say, after being in this county for over 16 years, this is my 16th budget, that the hardworking team of the Parks Department, especially with our park operations team and all the services they provide through all these 75 parks and beaches, our recreation team, our water park team, our golf course team, all the programs that we provide, they do such an amazing job. We're so prevalent on what we do. I always go back to, I always try to tell folks, just remember during the pandemic when we closed and how upset people were. So I was I don't want to go back on memory lane, but it is so important for me, as this is my career. I'm in my 44th year in parks, and I'm really proud of what we do. This is an amazing county. I work for some big counties down south, and I will tell you, they're big and they're bureaucratic. This county is solid. It is solid as they come in terms of what we do for our residents and how much they love our parks. And I just want to kind of end on that and thank the board for all the support you've given me and my team through my career here. And we look forward to more good years to come. Thank you.
I'll bet that just like the library department has more attendees, people attending events, I bet our parks in Martin County have more attendees than all the counties to our south combined also. Because people really do use our parks. I use them just like the library. I use the parks every day too. and lots of other folks do too. Is the El Camino Trail going to open fully this year?
I expect it,
Yes.
according to the budget, yes, to be
Yes.
we'll be fully funded to
Yes.
help operate it, but yes.
So when do you think this year? Fall?
We're working through some project management, and yes, by the fall.
And what's the Martin Grade Park?
That is something that Sean Donahue and I talked about that was under his inventory that we agreed to put under parks because it made more sense. Commissioner Capps and I have been talking about just some improvements in there out west of Martin County for some future improvements. So we're moving the park under our inventory, and then in our next budget year in capital, we're looking at doing some improvements for that area down the road.
It was an old fire station.
Yep.
Used
Yeah,
to
how
be,
much acreage is
it
it?
used to be in my district until it was stolen away from me by District 3.
That's the fire station.
We're coming from you.
Yeah.
How much acreage is there?
3,000.
No,
Yeah.
it's like 10 acres, something. It's
10
not
acres,
big.
I
We
mean,
can,
yes.
we can, yeah.
Yeah. It had a fire station that we've been waiting a long time to figure out if we were going to have to utilize it again before, to give it up, it would have cost nothing, but to build another one, it would cost $50 million. And I always wondered that if they needed a fire station out there, 40 years ago, would we not need one now? And then even the folks out there just said it's time. The only thing I didn't see on your list, Mr. Abate, was our exciting new dog park that will be coming to Palm City very shortly, funded by District 5 funds to kick it off. And the nice part is the parking lot, the restroom, we're putting it into Justin Wilson Park, so it won't need any of those services. They're already there. So they'll build adjacent to the restroom facility. It'll be next to the parking lot. There's no houses anywhere within barking sound. So, and we're very excited to be opening that up in the fall. And then I'd like to also thank them for Charlie Layton Park, the boat ramps, and the redo of that park is coming out very beautifully, and that'll be opening up in September. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I would make a motion on that good news to tentatively accept Parks and Rec's 2027 fiscal year budget.
Second.
Any further comments? There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you. What do you want to take up now?
Public Works.
Okay.
Yeah, I see him.
I just didn't know if she wanted to go to non-departmental.
No, it's the boring end. We'll,
Okay.
we'll end.
Let's just don't forget.
We'll make
Here
everyone
comes the
suffer
people.
through that.
Okay, Public Works. Mr. Gordon.
Good afternoon, Board. Jim Gorton, Public Works Director. With me, I have Mark Avaney, our Deputy Public Works Director,
You got way more than that.
as well as our division managers, should any technical questions come up regarding their operating budgets. Public Works provides essential services to the community, including traffic, flood, and mosquito control, right-of-way maintenance, management of and public access to environmentally sensitive lands, transportation for our public, disadvantaged ADA and veteran riders, long-range traffic planning, development technical review, and restoration and retrofit of the stormwater and roadway networks throughout the county. Our real property survey and environmental divisions work directly with our county attorney's office to pursue land acquisitions pursuant to the Martin Forever land acquisition sales tax that the public approved last year. This fiscal year 27 budget maintains our level of service while absorbing fuel, labor, and contracted services increases. Our largest adjustment relates to enhanced landscaping, which saw a significant contractual increase, as well as 4.5 miles of enhanced landscaping along Canner Highway that will be transferred to county maintenance this year pursuant to our agreement with Florida Department of Transportation. We were able to reduce our overall capital budget by $1 million this year while adjusting project timelines to account for increases in unit rate ranging from 40 to 88% since 2020 for our commonly used commodities such as asphalt, base rock, and concrete elements. This slide shows a a bridge project that we recently completed in East Fork Creek on Dixie Highway, and above that is our surveyors that are working, collecting topographic information for a grant project that we have. And I'm going to bring up Mark Avaney to go over some of the details with our data.
Good afternoon, Chair Hurd, County Commissioners, Mark Avaney, Deputy Director of Public Works. It is my unique pleasure to present some of the very important items that Public Works provides to the community. Let's start with something obviously this commission is very familiar with, the management of environmentally sensitive lands. 37,000 acres have been preserved from development forever by various ways, outright purchase, donations, and of course all those lands need to be managed by our staff for for vegetation that might be invasive, for public access, and so obviously there's a cost for doing that. The first picture there, which shows our beaches, is pretty unique, and we have 22 miles of beaches in this particular project, which was the renourishment of the beach there on Hutchinson Island, shows some bulldozers there in tandem doing really an incredible amount of work, moving 400,000 cubic yards of sand. And actually, the project itself won an award, and our coastal program from the American Shore and Beach Preservation Association for the best restored beach this year. And our coastal manager, Jessica Garland, will be going to receive that award later this year. Interestingly enough, that picture also won an award because it is quite incredible to go out there and see those bulldozers literally in the surf moving that sand. And I know Commissioner Vargas and Commissioner Capps joined us out there to see some of that, and it is quite incredible to look at. So we know that water quality is important, certainly to this commission and to the community, and we have a responsibility, a federal mandate through the Clean Water Act that we protect our water in Martin County. And I'm proud to say that we have 100% compliance with our National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, also known as our MS4. So all the water that drains into the St. Lucie, the Loxahatchee, all that is 100% compliant with our federal clean water standards. Again, pretty significant, pretty important thing to also cost us money to do, but very proud to be a part of that. Let's talk about stormwater, our inlets, our treatment areas, our outfall structures. As you all know, we have literally thousands of those in Martin County. And you can see the picture down there on the right, some of our stormwater crews replacing pipes. Very important to prevent flooding, to keep our roadways clear, to keep water off of people's property. So again, we're very proud that we have that process here. And then obviously, our right-of-ways and our arterial mowing and pruning along our roadways, very important for site visibility to make Martin County look nice when people are driving up and down our roads. And we're maintaining a lot of different roadway acres. And interestingly enough, I know Stephanie spoke about inflation and increases. Our arterial mowing contract since FY20 has gone up 47%. 47% since FY20, and our landscaping has gone up 30% since the same year. So obviously a lot of costs that we just have to absorb to keep this basic level of service for our constituents. The next picture shows some of the other things that we do here. Transit, very, very proud of the fact that we're providing 122,000 annual rides. This is keeping cars off the road, reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. This is giving people rides to doctor's appointments, to shopping, to visit a friend for mental health. And you can see the amount of veterans that we've helped, as well as 28,000 transportation disadvantaged riders. Those are individuals that by federal requirements are either low income or disabled or have some issue that prevents them from getting around. So again, very proud that we've got a system that provides those people a way to get around Martin County. Traffic engineering, the top
Mark,
picture.
can I interrupt you?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry. Commissioner Campy has a question.
Thank you. Just while that photograph is the one above the bus, can you explain to us, to the folks that might not know what that is?
Yes, sir. That is our traffic center. That is where we're watching the 130 traffic signals in Martin County. And those individuals right there are watching to adjust traffic signals. I know it doesn't always seem that way, but they're doing that to speed things up or slow things down based on traffic, based on an accident. And those individuals are managing that along with our sign panels and our street lights as well.
Question.
So, yes.
Sir, sorry. That's maintained how often? 7 days a week? 5 days a week?
Yeah, it's manned 5 days a week, but they have, via their cell phones, access to the system 24/7. So they're frequently making adjustments and getting alerts to their phones when, after hours, something happens with one of those
This is
signals.
currently at the airport, correct?
Yeah, it's at the.
It's a hardened facility?
It's a hardened facility.
It's a probably very advanced technological space.
It is, it has its own server, and it doesn't run on AI yet, but it runs on advanced technology to, it analyzes the traffic going through each phase of the intersection, and it adjusts it as it goes.
Has emergency standby power generation?
It does.
Will this facility be located in our new operations center?
This facility is one of the ones that's going to be transferred over to our operations center.
Thank you.
And now, as a note, I know in a meeting with Steve Braun and staff a couple of months ago, and it was noted that our traffic operations was clearly the best in District 4 for all of our both in our approach and our use of technology and keeping our traffic flowing the best.
Can you do that for $200 a square foot? Let me know.
Proceed, please.
Thank you. And then last but not least on this slide are engineering services. As you know, we've got to review plans, we've got to review permits, we have code compliance, environmental protection, health and safety, and our engineering services does a great job reviewing all those plans, and you can see some of the volume that they dealt with just in the last year. And then the last slide, I'd like to say as the sun sets, but actually this is as the sun rises on East Fork Creek STA project. This is a great example of how Public Works has been able to capitalize on grants to extend local tax funding. This particular project, which just finished this year, got a $1.1 million Department of Environmental Protection grant, and that was matched by about $600,000 of local funds, so that we were able to complete this project at far less impact on our ad valorem taxes than had we not gotten the grant. And Public Works is just, they're pros at doing this, and it extends the ad valorem a lot. The interesting thing about this project is not only does it look good, but it reduces nitrogen in our water systems, it reduces phosphorus, it prevents flooding, and it's a wonderful place to go out and walk. This is right near the Mariner Sands community, if you're aware of that. So actually, again, just a perfect example of how we're doing things and work that matters in the community. I would be remiss if I don't mention mosquito control, because I know, especially this time of year, people are starting to become concerned about that. I want to point out the larvicide acres, the 2,200 larvicide acres. So larvae are not adults. They don't fly, they don't sting. That's when we want to get them. And mosquito control has been working very hard to increase our larvicide acres, so we don't need to do as much aerial spraying. And that's what you're seeing there in the larvicide acres to reduce the adults. All in all, work that matters for the community every day. It's my absolute pleasure to work with this group. Many of them are here, who every day, keep our citizens safe, keep our visitors safe, keep our businesses safe, and just do great things for the environment. Thank you. I'm ready to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions? I guess everybody's satisfied.
I'll move tentative approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Public Works.
Utilities.
Utilities and Solid Waste is next. Mr. Amerson, welcome.
No, you're fine. Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
Madam Chair and Commissioners and County Administrator, or County Attorney. It's good to be with you once again and discuss budgets and all things utilities and solid waste. For the record, I'm Sam Amerson. I'm your Department Director for Utilities and Solid Waste. With me today is Jeremy Covey. He's your Deputy Director. And we also have Brittany Bassett, our Assistant Director. Get these nippers on. So it's my pleasure to present the 2027 budget for our department. Every day our team delivers services that most residents never have to think about. But they do depend on them every single day, whether it's providing safe drinking water, protecting our waterways through wastewater management, and treatment, collecting and disposing of solid waste, or maintaining the infrastructure that supports our growing community. Our mission is to provide these essential services safely, reliably, and efficiently. Our proposed budget is centered on maintaining these essential services, operating efficiently, and continuing to be responsible stewards of the public's investment. Slide 1 has some factual data on here. If you'll note, our request this year for 27 is $74 million. Represents about 6.2% increase. Most of those increases are from services, operating services, contractual services, and also chemicals and sludge hauling and disposal. The budget allows us to maintain our current level of service while addressing these increases in operating costs and continuing to operate efficiently. Like many utilities across Florida, we continue to experience rising costs associated with chemicals, sludge hauling, solid waste collection and disposal, contractual obligations, and maintaining our critical infrastructure. Our department includes many different operations working collectively, and these divisions support one of the county's most essential public services. Our focus this year is straightforward. We're working to deliver safe and reliable drinking water, wastewater, reclaimed water, and solid waste services while preparing our infrastructure to meet future growth. We're continuing to modernize our customer service systems, expand preventive maintenance throughout our renewal and replacement program, maintain the county's excellent AA+ credit rating through responsible financial management, provide dependable solid waste collection and disposal services, and expand recycling opportunities for all of our residents. These goals all support one common objective, that's providing reliable service today while preparing for tomorrow. And on this slide, I want to identify two notable strategic investments. The first one is called Advanced Metering Infrastructure, or AMI. This is advanced metering, and this program will allow us to evaluate some newer technologies that improves our customer service, will enhance leak detection at meters, and provides more timely information to our customers regarding their usage and potential leaks. The second is artificial intelligence optimization for the North Treatment Plant. The wastewater plant is where we dewater our treated wastewater and produce the biosolids. This centrifuge system is going to utilize technology to improve the dewatering efficiency, reduce our polymer usage, consumption, and also lower operating cost over time. And with that, I'll let Jeremy walk us through the remaining slides.
Good afternoon. Jeremy Covey, Deputy Director for the record. As you can see, we're one department with two separate services provided. On the left, we have utility services, which is our water and wastewater side, and on the right, we have our solid waste services. Under utility services, roughly 15% of the department's budget is devoted to maintenance of water and wastewater infrastructure. This includes water mains, fire hydrants, service, and meters. On the wastewater side, lift stations and associated force mains and gravity systems. And also, we maintain 2 water treatment plants and 2 wastewater treatment plants. Another 18% of the budget is devoted to treatments of both water and wastewater, mostly to staff electricity and chemicals. Utility also provides other services such as development review, septic sewer administration, capital program management, and customer service. On the solid waste side, the department manages collection and disposal of solid waste, including household waste, yard debris, recyclables, and construction debris. In addition, we have the Household Hazardous Waste Program, which provides an avenue for residents to dispose of hazardous waste, such as motor oil, electronics, paint, pool chemicals, and other items. Another valuable service provided by the department is the Pump Out Boat Program, which provides about 5,000 pump outs per year with 2 full-time operating boats. The next 2 slides provide some interesting facts about the department. The first fact here is we have 40,000 water customers and 30,000 sewer customers, which serves a population on the water side of 108,000. Our average daily production of potable water between our 2 plants is 11.1 million gallons a day, which, to put in perspective, is right around 17 Olympic-sized swimming pools of water per day. Average daily wastewater, 5.9 million gallons per day. Our customer service team interacts with roughly 5,000 customers per month. Lift station and vacuum stations, 422, with 1,200 individual grinder stations. On the solid waste side, the scale house transactions are about 158,000 annually, which is roughly 530 per day, or to put in perspective, 65 vehicles an hour. Municipal solid waste tons, 122,000, which is about 80,000 average-sized cars. Yard waste tons, 98,000, which is about 18,000 elephants, kind of just put in perspective there. So, household hazardous waste tons, 170. And then construction debris, 130,000, and single stream recycling tons, right around 62 tons daily.
Which is equivalent to?
I don't have that one for you. I stopped at the elephant.
How many wild boars is that?
Hey, made everyone laugh, didn't it? So it worked. So, and in closing, the fiscal year 2027 tentative budget reflects our commitment to provide safe, reliable, and efficient utility and solid waste services while managing public resources. I'd like to thank our utility and solid waste staff for their dedication and professionalism. Their commitment is what makes these services possible every day. Thank you, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Commissioner Vargas?
Yes, Mr. Emerson, thank you so much, and thank you so much, Mr. Covey. Are you an enterprise
Yes.
department?
Yes, ma'am, that's
So,
correct.
All right, so everybody hearing that is not here, that are not present, so how much ad valorem do you use?
$0.
$0. Okay, that's what I wanted people to hear. All right, so you're self-supporting.
Yes, it's run as a business
I like that idea.
in that respect, yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Everybody, I had some people contact me, they just got their notice about the increase. They're signing up. I know pizzas and all that, but $483 per unit, that's per year, correct? Yeah.
That's reasonable.
I'm looking at revenues, and there are 0 grants, but presumably if New Monrovia proceeds this year, which it will, presumably if Palm City proceeds this year, and it will, they're both recipients of DEP grants, are they not?
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
So why aren't they included? You don't, I don't know how these work. Do we we apply for the grant, do we receive the grant, or we receive the grant when we begin the project?
So when you'll see it come through on one of my OMB items to amend the budget, because since we don't have it in hand, we don't feel it's appropriate to budget that until we have it in hand. So
Okay.
once we have an executed contract, we come in through OMB to amend the budget.
Okay.
They also show up on the CIP sheet as opposed to the operational budget, too,
Okay.
is where you would see those where you'll see it.
I just knew that those were 2 substantial grants and didn't see them on the revenue side.
Yes, they
so-
show up in the CIP. So there's 13 million for Port Salerno currently.
Right.
So, yes.
Madam,
Thank you. Yeah.
just as an aside for the hazardous waste drop-off facility, they also take flat-screen TVs, computer monitors, computers, and lithium batteries, correct?
Yes, they do.
You don't want those thrown away, car batteries and things like that. So I think that's a service, and I mention this every time it comes up. That's a remarkable service that a lot of communities don't necessarily have. You can also call and have the mobile waste van come to your neighborhood to pick stuff up if you're doing it through an HOA or something, right? You guys go out and do events if they can't come directly to the landfill.
We occasionally do events, yes.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people just figure they can get clever and put, lacquer thinner and paints and batteries in a black garbage bag and just toss it into the garbage, when we do have a system that's free for all of those things. I'm driving down streets and I see people put flat-screen TVs to the curb, and I know that we take those, and they're dangerous to the employees that have to handle these items, and they're the worst things to put into the landfill if they happen to get past this system. So just another public service message to anything that seems like it shouldn't go, either call up and ask or bring it by for free.
Further questions let's see.
Just one comment, this is one of the areas too with our aggressive septic to sewer program. that where we're adding a lot more customers, that is greater than what our population growth is. So their utilities is expanding by much faster than our, and yet you'll see that their actual percentage growth on their budget is been very low. So they've been able to absorb a lot of that, but we are adding. Again, the goal was to add in 10,000 new customers within 10 years, so 1,000 a year, which is significantly more growth in our population. So they've been doing a great job keeping things really efficient.
And how many have we added in 10 years? Or since
Jeremy,
we,
you-
since we
didn't-
started?
I do not have that number.
I didn't bring that, I didn't bring that.
How
Okay.
many elephants?
Quite a
Yeah,
few.
it's like 8,000.
Yeah, around 6,000, I believe. We're not quite on track to get 10,000, but we're pretty close.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we'll be making that up soon. I think we've met with each of you individually to talk about a needed change in our strategy for providing sewer service.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We'll be able to,
I'm confident.
we won't go there this morning.
Yeah.
Today, I mean,
In Palm City, you're going to add in, that's 1,000, right?
a little over 1,000.
You're welcome. Motion to accept the tentative fiscal year 27 budget for solid waste and utilities.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, thank you.
And now we will take up non-departmental.
All that's left is non-departmental and wrap-up, so just. So Stephanie Murley here to present the non-departmental budget. The non-departmental budget includes revenues and expenditures that are countywide in nature or are not assigned to a specific department. These are costs that support the overall operation of county government, such as insurance, legislative support, annual financial audits, actuarial studies, investment services, grant writing, and contributions to the economic development. So the FY27 tentative non-departmental budget totals approximately $270.3 million. The largest components are reserves, risk management, budgeted transfers, debt service, and grants and aids. And this chart shows how those expenditures are distributed within the department. So there's a few divisions within non-departmental, and we have one program called non-departmental. This slide provides a breakdown of the non-departmental program. The largest expenditures include the Community Redevelopment Agency payments for both the county and the city CRAs, the insurance for both property and health, utility-related payments, employee leave payout costs, indirect costs, and countywide professional services. A few more programs within non-departmental include economic development. That remains unchanged from the prior year. That's based on the Business Development Board contract that's been approved. Our debt service is actually decreasing based on scheduled principal and interest payments based on the payoffs we did last year and with the additional of our most recent bond. Risk management increases, as I mentioned earlier, were primarily due to unavoidable projected health insurance costs for the employees, for both the board and the constitutional officers. And the budgeted transfers, which just vary each year based on funding needs between county funds and are reflected in other departmental budgets. So this slide is our grants and aids program. The FY27 tentative budget for grants and aids is approximately $6.5 million, but it contains a variety of items between that. This program includes contracted services, grants to governmental agencies, grants to private organizations, and other aid programs, which I'll explain. So for the contracted services portion, there was a slight increase for the Humane Society and Historical Society. These were based on contractual funding adjustments, such as the flea and tick medications need for the Humane Society and the annual increase for Historical Society that's been approved by the board, but no changes to the Treasure Coast Wildlife or Life Builders contracts. The grants to governmental agencies, these are A lot of these are established through local ordinance or unfunded mandate in state statutes. The category includes funding for governmental agencies and programs, and ones that are required by Florida statute or local ordinance include the county indigent hospitalization. I mentioned these at the beginning of our presentation. Medicaid hospital, we're responsible for our portion of the Martin County Health Department vaccination program, and also we have to maintain their facility. The Healthcare Responsibility Act, Children's Home Society, and then New Horizons, which is mandated by the state. For grants and aids, the grants to private organizations, this slide lists the nonprofit organizations that received grant funding in FY26, and funding levels are unchanged from the previous year. For other aid to organizations, you're seeing a small increase of $5,000 to the Dory Slosberg driver education. That is based on estimated collections on from Florida State Statutes 318. It is totally based on the fees collected at the clerk's office that provides driver education programs. This slide summarizes the county's budgeted reserves, which are maintained in accordance with the county's financial policies and are reported within each appropriate funding structure. Our general fund restricted reserve requirement for FY27 is $25.4 million. Additional funds have been allocated to reserves to plan for future capital expenditures in utilities and solid waste, roads, parks, and technology investment plan, OPEB, which is other post-employment benefits and actuarial needs, as well as salary adjustments per previously approved bargaining agreements. And that concludes non-departmental.
Questions for Ms. Murley? I was very pleased to see debt service is the same as it was last year, even though we've taken on considerable new debt. It's not going to be paid for with ad valorem because Ms. Murley retired debt last year, and we've been saving up some years in order to do that without a penalty.
Thank you.
Commissioner Vargas.
Yeah, Ms. Murley, on the couple slides here, excuse me, on 668.
Can you get on your microphone, please? Thanks.
668, yes. Page 668. You have several organizations there. Are these all required to be funded? Or is this just a contract that was drawn up? You know, it's not state mandated, these, correct?
These ones are not state mandated, but I do think that they.
The Humane Society is state mandated.
Humane Society is, but these are budgets that are based on board-approved contractual obligations.
Okay, and then let's go on to, I see the next slide, 669. Now, I see small notes next to that.
These ones
Indigent
are all
medicine.
required.
These are all required? This is from the state?
State, local ordinance, or unfunded mandate that's been brought down by the state.
Okay, let's go on to the next page, 670. Are these all mandated?
These are just what the board has previously approved, not state mandated.
Okay. Okay.
Commissioner Capps.
Yes, I noticed that reserves are going way up from 112 last year, 112 million last year to 128 million, 128 million this year. And you mentioned that was because of the financial policies of the county. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more as to why it's that much? I'm glad we're saving, but.
So the board has, we annually adopt fiscal policies that I bring to you usually around October of each year that requires us to establish reserve policies per best accounting principles. Our general fund has a minimum reserve requirement of 10% of the total operating cost, and we try to apply that through every funding source in order to be able to be ready and respond in any kind of emergency or economic uncertainty in the future. So while you're seeing increases in reserves, a lot of it is set aside for future needs that we might be seeing down the way. So just for example, last week, and this is going to get really boring, but we received our actuarial report for other post-employment benefits and health insurance, and we have something called an incurred but not realized expense that we should plan for, even though it may not come to fruition. So a lot of these are set aside just in case at the last minute something collapses, we would have to respond and be ready for. You'll see the enterprise is very large. That's a huge portion is for your utilities and solid waste, and that's their renewal and replacement funds in order to set aside for their capital outlay, which is required to maintain their utility system and solid waste services. You'll also see we have our internal service funds. That's going to be our set aside that we've accumulated through our fleet replacement fund. We've transitioned to enterprise, so we put about 1.5 million still that was collected over the past few years. And we're still working through that transitioning process with enterprise fleet maintenance. So it's just a variety of set-asides to just kind of not only rainy day, but also to plan and weather any kind of future economic or legislative uncertainty that may be coming towards us.
Say we had a bad hurricane. Where would you pull money from out of the reserve accounts for hurricane cleanup and any other type of expenses that come up in hurricanes?
You know, my current estimate for a hurricane recovery on something of the magnitude of what the West Coast saw, or even a Francis and Jean, is probably on the order of $80 million. So on something of that magnitude, you really take it from everywhere. You have your general restricted reserves, utilities as they're doing their repairs would be taking it out of their reserves. You would stop doing any capital projects, and so Public Works would be using any of the gas tax that they would have towards the project. And so it, even though that shows you can see the biggest part of that is in your utilities operation, which they need. Obviously, anything that breaks at a water plant there's just nothing cheap about a utility. So they're expensive plant operations. So if you really look at it, the amount of reserves you have, just like in restricted general fund at 30 million, does not cover your debris cost or cleanup from a major event. And of course, what you see after a major event is you have a large expense of public safety, of hourly and overtime going on, and then you have the actual removal of the debris, which is also an expensive operation. Then you have your repair, your buildings, and those sort of things. And so what we're seeing is that you would bleed through your all of these expenses in the first 6 months, and then if things progress like they are currently doing, you would likely have to borrow some money to keep paying for your cleanup, waiting for the state and the feds to catch up.
And that takes like 5 years to get paid? Or 10
Right now,
years?
about 2 years is what
2
it
years.
is. It's about, our staff have been very aggressive in what they call the FROC program, that's supposed to get you payment in theory within a year, but nobody's actually, I've read that they've actually gotten that. So you get partial funding. So anyway, it was probably more than you wanted to know, but it is an important part of in our budget, and it was a lot of questions from the Standards and Poor's asked us about this recently when we were looking at it, and because they understood that reserves and disaster management are a critical component to being financially resilient.
And that's probably, our reserve amounts are probably key to our credit rating as well. Which is very good. Double A, right?
Double A.
And where are conservation tax funding? Where is that? Is that non-departmental?
That is contained within the capital improvement plan. what is that?
It's in ecosystems management.
Yeah,
It's
ecosystems.
budgeted in that sheet.
And that's about $21 million.
So that's why the CIP was as big as it is.
Correct. It had the increase last year as it came
Yep,
in.
yep. Any further
Yeah,
questions?
this is very minor compared to
Commissioner
that
Heatherington.
question, but I didn't have a chance to meet with you. 3,400 line item, it just seems like a kind of catch-all. What is the marine infrastructure, flea tick heartworm treatment? Lake Okeechobee release schedule, are we still doing anything with lures? Do we need a?
So these were, we
Contract.
kept baseline, so this is unfortunately why non-departmental is called non-departmental. It's kind of a catch-all for all of the random stuff that we're doing, so,
I'm just curious, what flea and heartworm
sampling related
for lures? Okay, so that's necessary, lures, for sure.
and that flea and tick heartworm treatment, that's what I kind of mentioned a little bit, before. There was a slight increase in that, for the Humane Society. That's kind of separate from the regular contract, so we're required to provide flea and tick medication for those animals.
Okay, so if it didn't fit, it kind of gets put into 3,400.
Yes.
Yes.
Any further questions? Is there a motion to approve non-departmental?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
That motion passes 4-1 with Commissioner Vargas dissenting.
So,
Some of those items that fall into non-departmental can be negotiated and discussed as we continue our budgetary process. They are not all locked in as of today. These were tentatives.
absolutely. So if I may, this concludes our FY27 tentative budget presentation. And so the next item for board consideration is the tentative millage rates. And so I'm going to go through a couple slides and then we can talk about it at the end. So this table summarizes the proposed FY27 millage rates for what's considered the countywide, the total millage countywide in MST, which is excluding the districts, which I'll bring a worksheet up in a moment. So while several individual countywide millage components were adjusted to reflect the expenditures within each of those funds, the total countywide millage rate remains unchanged from FY26. And then the combined unincorporated MSTU rate also remains unchanged. And so as we have gone through this workshop today and listening to what has been requested, all of the millage rates that are contained within your budget document that was given to you all on July 1st are reflected here with the slight change to the District 4 MSTU, which reduces the millage rate from what was initially proposed to 0.0450, which is essentially the rollback rate. So at this time, if the board would like to, either you could approve countywide and then each MSTU would be most helpful for whatever will be published on those trim notices that we mentioned before.
Got that? Countywide and then the individual MSTUs.
I'm going to try to make this big. So these are the numbers. I'll put the little box there if you want to see.
What do you need, Ms. Murley? The proposed millage and the proposed ad valorem?
Just the proposed millage rate at this time, which is the most important part of the trim statutes that we are required to do, because it could always fluctuate based on post-VAB in the future. So our total countywide current millage rate is unchanged at 6.5614.
So you need a motion for the
Proposed general
proposed
fund.
millage rate, 6.5614.
Yes.
So that's my motion.
Commissioner Vargas?
Okay, so my question, Ms. Murley. Today, we're going to make a decision whether or not to continue with this particular millage rate from the previous year, or we can make another proposal to reduce it when?
So you may approve your millage rate now, and you also have 2 more times that we're going to be coming back to the board. I should pull up this last slide. So whatever millage rate you set here today is going to be transmitted to the property appraiser's office per Florida trim laws. Those millage rates are going to be published on the truth and millage or the trim notices and mailed to each property owner. That's usually around the first to second week of August. We'll be coming back here to have another public hearing on those millage rates, which gives you another opportunity to reduce the millage rate if so desired. And then we'll come back again on September 29th, the second public hearing, to finalize, and that's the last shot. So up to this date, we've done months of budgeting. We had our capital improvement plan, went through all of those things. We're here at the budget workshop today, and this is the mathematical culmination of all of those good services projects that were all talked about and approved. And then we can come back again in 2 more meetings in September.
Mr. Capps?
Move approval of the countywide, is that the right term, countywide?
There's
Oh,
already
we
a
already
motion. You
have
want a
that.
second?
Second then, second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. And now fire
Fire-
rescue,
yeah.
followed by parks.
So our fire rescue MSTU, again, no change from the previous fiscal year at 2.6376.
Move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
Our Parks and Recreation MSTU, which is no change from FY26 at 0.1474.
Move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
And on your trim notices, both stormwater and roads MSTU are considered the same taxing authority. So what we'll do is go ahead and do a motion for stormwater and road MSTU, which is the total is unchanged, even though there's slight variations within the funds at 0.5722.
Move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
Next is District 1 MSTU that has a 4.40% reduction in the millage rate from 0.0666 to 0.0637.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
District 2 MSTU from a 0.0742 to a 0.0709.
Move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
District 3 MSTU has a 0% change, so it will maintain at 0.0404.
Move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
District 4 MSTU, which is showing a reduction of 5.85% from 0.0478 to 0.0450.
Since she's not able to make motions without passing the gavel, I'll make a motion for District 4.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. And
District 5 MSTU, which is showing a 5.41% reduction in the millage rate from 0.0671 to 0.0635.
So moved.
Second.
there's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
And the last one is Special District A61, which is the Hutchison Island MSTU, which funds the capital program for beach, is showing a no % change, so it will remain at 0.1799.
I make a motion for approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
And we have come to the end of the budget workshop today.
Excellent. We have 2 request to speak forms. If anyone else would like to address us, please fill out a request to speak form, hand it to the bailiff. The first request is from John Dial, followed by Gary Erler.
While Mr. Dial's on his way up, just as, since we didn't read this morning, since we are in election season, politicking is prohibited, which is defined as the advocating the election or defeat of a candidate for public office, either partisan or nonpartisan, This includes the use of words, dates, signs, props, and/or wearing apparel that convey a message of support for a person or group of persons. And you'll have a buzzer which will indicate you have 15 seconds left. Thank you.
Thank you to the board for your hard work and what you've done in the commission, as the employees for the county. This is an eye-opening experience for my first time of sitting through an entire day of budget meetings. And I'm assuming that we're taking into account if the legislation and the voters approve the homestead exemption in all of our numbers that we're presenting today. But I got to just tell you that I am very impressed with the explanations and all of the accounting and the budgetary requests for all the heads. And I think the best part about this is we have plenty of time to look at it and go over it and see what's going on and dig down into any questions. I took 10 pages of notes today, so there's probably a few things we'll come up with. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you. Gary Erler is next, followed by Richard Geisinger.
I would have said good morning, Commissioners, but I'll say good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. My name is Gary Erler. I'm a resident of Port Salerno. 2019, my tax bill, not my tax bill, my previous owner, whenever I bought my home, was $1,440. This year, or actually 2025 tax bill's the one that's on record, is $4,815. That's a $3,375 increase in mine alone, along with, I'm not a realtor, I couldn't tell you how many homes have been sold in Martin County. It's a lot of money. We've increased our taxes, our take-in, by over $41 million this year. And a couple things that have been brought up in past meetings, and I think now's the time, or at least to get it in the thoughts of all the commissioners. Mr. Capps brought up the fact that we're taking in green space and county properties and no way to maintain them, whether it's pepper trees overgrown into county right-of-ways, all that. I know there's a big area around the Salerno Creek and storm retention area that has that. It's pushing over onto homeowners' properties. We've made calls. We've been to NACs. We've been to CRAs. Is it Parks and Rec? Is it Public Works? We don't know who does it. Either way, the pepper trees are still growing. We need to take into consideration for that. Commissioner Hurd, either at one of the forums, I believe, said it costs $275,000 to pave 1 mile of road. We're still bidding and allocating at $175,000. That's an extra $100,000 in increase. None of that's been taken into consideration. Fuel costs. Every department uses fuel. You can buy fuel in advance. You can buy futures on fuel, just like you can buy futures on pork or beef or anything else. So we could save money doing that. The 501c charities that this county and everyone else supports, I don't want to be the bad guy, but if we're providing them a building, I know Commissioner Campy brought up the fact that they used the PBA, or yeah, I believe it was the PAL League used to box right next to his office. They moved into a building in Golden Gate. I know they're going to take care of that building. It's on them. If they can't, I'm sorry, they got to go. I mean, if they can't provide for their own, whether it's public, private, however it is, the county's putting up the building, they can at least take care of it. I guess in the IT department supports data centers, which is the biggest topic in the county right now.
Your time is up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Richard Geisinger is up.
Madam Chair and Commissioners, this is probably premature, but I just wanted you to think about something between now and the time that you all meet again to talk about the budget. I just ran population numbers for Martin County from 2020 to 2025, and I went to 3 different sources. In 2020, we had 158,431, and in 2025, we had 166,300. That's not 2% a year. That's 1% a year. In fact, it's a little bit less than 1% a year. So we grew 5% in 5 years. Our budget on those same 5 years went from $442 million to $652 million. That's a $210 million increase, a 47% increase, same time period. Now, if I did the numbers right, and I could be wrong, I don't know, 2025, we had a $652 million budget, and for 2026, you're proposing 804,629, is that right? 804. That's a $151 million increase, 23%. People can't afford this. So I would ask you all just to think about this during this time period, to try and relax this a little bit, try and look for ways to try and save money. And congratulations to the county attorney and her whole area over there. That was fantastic. I wanted to hear more of that. I believe in the Martin County difference. I love this county. I've been here my whole adult life. I thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to address us? In that case, we are
Just a
nearing.
point about, from my friend Gary, PAL is building their own building. We just made a deal for some surplus property, but they'll have to fundraise, and there's no building yet. They're going to have to fundraise and build their own building there. As just an example of that, just so that, I'm sure the PAL people are getting panicked. They're still my next-door neighbors in Palm City, but their goal is to build a facility in Stuart on some property that they've purchased, and then there's some
In
property.
Golden Gate, right?
In Golden Gate, correct. So,
And I would just like to express my sincere appreciation to our budget department.
Yeah,
You
you did a
are
great job.
wonderful.
Great job.
If I may brag, everyone had their numbers, but I didn't get to put my numbers out. But we actively
Put their numbers in for
monitor,
you.
evaluate, adjust, and analyze over 23,000 unique individual line items in this budget. It's a year-round effort, and I am very thankful of my small but mighty team to manage those funds and identify efficiencies for all Martin County taxpayers, which we are.
Yep.
So responsive, so professional, so smart.
Yeah. You did.
Thank you.
Mr. Vargas?
Yeah, I definitely want to say that I appreciate our budget department. It's always very clear when she speaks with me, and if it's not, and I ask 3 times, she is very patient. She, and I mean the whole crew. So I do appreciate that. I'm a numbers person, I guess you know. But anyway, are we going on to, thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, and everybody who is not here in absentia, all the other departments that came and made presentations today. Are we ready for commissioner comments?
Sure,
Okay. We finished?
thank you. Sure.
Okay. For the NACO, National Association of Counties, they wanted to, again, designate me, Commissioner Vargas, as the voting representative at their 90th annual conference. So, wanted to give you that notice.
where is it? Cool. Where is it being held?
New Orleans.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Really
Y'all-
appreciate it. Anybody can come with me.
What's the purpose of the conference?
Yes.
This is the voting for all the delegates, and also, of course, they have many breakout sessions, yeah. Different things, but I'll go ahead and provide you with
Association
info.
of Counties.
Yeah, this was done last year, so if we could just get the commissioners to head nod or acknowledge that Ms. Vargas will be voting on behalf of the county for business.
I just don't know what the organization does.
Well, the organization, they advocate for the collective voice on national policies. In addition to that, they have the ideas and they build new leadership skills. They pursue transformational, cost-effective solutions. They enrich the public's understanding of county governments, how they operate, and they exercise exemplary leadership in public service. So Martin County has a seat at the table, which is vital for us.
How much does it cost?
And how many of these meetings do you plan to attend each year?
This is the national, yeah. One.
I thought that there was one in Pennsylvania a couple months ago.
No, that was last year.
Well, they have more than one meeting a year. This is their annual meeting. How much does it cost?
I don't recall what the cost of the, we can provide that to you, what the travel and expenses are.
Continuing with my predecessor who attended every meeting, both Florida and national, so this is not out of the ordinary.
Commissioner Smith was the president of the Florida Association of Counties, and he came to us just a handful of years before he departed, asking if he could be part of NACO, and we assumed, I did at the time, since he was the president of the Florida Association of Counties, it made sense for him to represent Florida at NACO. But my question was simple, which you, as a fiscal hawk, would ask any of us: how much does it cost? That's all.
I think you're trying to put a value on something that is invaluable.
Well, I appreciate
But I'd be
that.
very happy to provide you with that, or Mr. Donaldson be more than happy to do that.
I'm not opposing you going, I'm just asking what it would cost. I watched Casey Ingram's podcast, so I'm familiar with the values of NACO and FACT.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, so that's, I'm
So you
just
don't
one.
need to ask. I just give an abbreviated description right now.
I didn't watch the
Commissioner
podcast.
Capst?
I'm good, thank you.
Me too. Mr. Campy?
Fine.
I'm all set.
Mr. Donaldson?
No, I just was reiterating the fact that if she's going to vote on behalf of the county, you all need to acknowledge or authorize it. Thank you.
When is it?
When's she gonna be voting?
When is it?
The conference is within a couple of weeks, is it not?
No, actually, it's this week.
This week, I'm sorry.
She has my nod.
Thank you.
As long as she votes along with our national legislative priorities.
Well, this is what we're doing because I have the Florida delegation that is there. Why would I vote differently?
No, I'm saying that you need to vote with
Martin
Martin County's national
Legislative
legislative priorities.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Are you attending by yourself, or is any staff attending?
I don't know.
Okay.
If it's this week, the decision's already made, right? I assume the travel arrangements are made.
Yes, the travel
So the
arrangements have been.
decision,
The attendance is going to happen. It's just the authority to vote, is that's all we're needing.
This is the
confirmation.
formality.
Do you need a motion on that, or?
I was just
I
looking
get the
for,
feeling you would feel better with a motion.
I just need at least 3 head nods, which has been a practice in the past, or an official motion. And right now, my interpretation is I have 1 or 2, the requester and 1 commissioner.
I'll give my head nod as well.
Me too, but I would like,
Okay.
I'd like to
Thank
hear
you.
a report back about what was discussed and the votes that were taken.
We can do that.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you once again. We are adjourned.